Kyle Hunter here for BangTheBook.com with a Saturday, March 9th college basketball preview. Going to look at a lot of college basketball games. Going to be quite a few marquee games on this one. Not as many of the mid-majors playing in the regular season. We talked about those conference tournaments on Handicapping the Hardwood on Bang the Book Radio all week this week. So if you want to hear about those conference tournaments, definitely tune into those. Some of those still have some pretty good shelf life left in them. So I will not be talking about the conference tournament games right now. I will talk about the regular season, and there are plenty of regular season games here to finish off the regular season slate for a lot of the bigger name teams. A couple smaller conferences still to talk about as well. So a couple things I wanted to point out here before we get going. Number one, check out the daily college basketball article that I do for BangTheBook.com. 72-48 so far this year. I know it's helped quite a few people make a lot of money. That's certainly my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to also help educate bettors, help you be a better college basketball bettor. Quite a tongue twister there, better. But, college basketball, a different sport than most others because there's so many different games. There's not, 30 teams, 32 teams. There's 353 teams. So trying to give you different angles to look at throughout the season and throughout conference tournament, March Madness. We'll also look at CIT, CBI, NIT, all those smaller postseason tournaments. Definitely things that we'll be talking about here going forward. Check out that daily article. Check out Bang the Book Radio with Adam Burke hosting. Always a great show every single day. So if you're not checking that out already, I certainly suggest you do so. Let's look here at the slate of games here for March 9th. Before I get into the slate of games, though, I do want to say last game of the regular season for a lot of teams here. A few things to keep in mind based on that. Teams with nothing to play for, so the bad or mediocre teams usually, that's a good way to look toward the over on the total. I would certainly not want to play an under in those games because what's the motivation to play a lot of defense there? There's nothing to play for. So keep that in mind. In the games between two teams who have a lot to play for, definitely lean toward the under. The defense shows up, the game slows down a little bit. When it means more, the pace usually slows down and the defense gets a lot better, so there's more intensity. Keep that in mind as you look at the rest of the regular season games here, both on Saturday and on Sunday. Let's get to the games. Duke and North Carolina here. North Carolina, I think, -2.5. This is what I think the market will put out. -2.5, 166 is my guess here. If you look at the first game between these two teams, the teams were combined 10 for 59 from three-point range, 10 for 59, and they still got to 160 points. So the total has to be really high here. I don't think either team's going to slow the game down. Having said that, it's hard to take over 166, 167, whatever it's going to be. So I likely won't be on that total. As far as the side, Zion Williamson has not been cleared to play yet. As I record this video, it appears doubtful he will play in this one. Definitely check his status. That means a lot to this Duke team. I think everybody knows that by this point. North Carolina would be my lean here. I think North Carolina wins this one on the glass. Very good on the offensive rebounds. Also solid defensive rebounding. Duke is not very good defensive rebounding, and they're certainly not as good when Zion Williamson is not in there getting some rebounds too. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't really want to lay points with North Carolina here, though. This is such a great rivalry. Duke's such a good team. Road revenge possibility. I think I'll probably pass on this game. It's certainly a game that I want to watch. Syracuse and Clemson. So here's a game that I'm more interested in betting. I think Clemson -4.5, total 128 or so in this one. Can Clemson be better against quality teams? We've seen Clemson beat up on the bad teams. We know what they can do against the bad teams. Can they beat somebody good? They might make it in the NCAA tournament because the bubble's so weak this year. But this Clemson team hasn't proven much. They really need to pick up some nice wins. Syracuse has not played great this year, but they're a difficult matchup. And they're a team that, would help Clemson to beat them, certainly. I think as you look at this game, I could not lay the points here on Clemson. I think Clemson has a decent chance of winning this game. I think this will be a very close game. My stronger lean in this game would be the under. I also lean Syracuse some here. I did want to point out here a stat that I brought up. Clemson ranks in the 57th percentile of offenses in the country against man defense, 23rd percentile. So a lot worse against the zone That's a very worrisome sign for Clemson going against an excellent zone defense here. Next game I want to look at, USC and Colorado. Second end of a back-to-back here for USC. The SoCal teams playing the back-to-backs at altitude. Not good. Not good spots for them. They've not done well in the long term. The only way I could bet this game would be Colorado. Colorado -5 in that area. I hope the number doesn't get too much bigger. Kicking myself for not taking Colorado against UCLA, as was my lean there for Thursday. But price dependent, certainly. You can't just lay whatever. You can't just say ahead of time, I'm going to take this one. I don't care what the price is. I do think Colorado is a good look here in this one. I don't know that USC cares about this game. USC likely, looking forward to that conference tournament. Obviously, they're not getting into the big dance unless they win the conference tournament. So I'm not sure that USC has much motivation in a game like this. They did lose at home to Colorado, so maybe you could say road revenge. But certainly my lean is Colorado in this. I think this is a tough spot for USC. Tennessee and Auburn, I think this is a pick-em game. I don't see how you could favor either team by much at all if you favor one. Auburn has been disappointing this year. They should have a higher upside than what they've shown thus far. I think this team still is dangerous, capable of getting hot. Tennessee hasn't been very good on the road of late. Tennessee has to protect the ball here. Auburn is #1 in the country in forced turnover rate per possession. I lean Auburn in this game, but not a strong lean. I think Auburn really needs that marquee win. I'm not saying they're not going to get in the big dance. I'm saying they need some confidence. This is a great shot for them. Here we are at the end of the regular season, a home game against a big-name team with a good ranking. Here's a good chance for them. I lean Auburn, nothing strong here. Charlotte and Rice. Rice -7.5, 138 or so in this one. Second straight game against each other. This is one of those quirks of the Conference USA bonus play schedule. I don't really like teams playing a second game in a row against each other. Although I think the handicapping theory that I would look at here is I'd hate to lay the points with Rice. They've already beaten Charlotte twice this year. Does this game mean a lot to them? I mean, it is a home game at the end of the regular season, so maybe they care and want to blow them out. I wouldn't want to lay 7.5, 8 points here, though. My lean would be toward the over. I don't think either team cares too much about a game like this. They've already played each other twice. So I think that's a negative for the under, a positive for the over. So wanted to mention that game for that point. Georgia State, Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern -4, 157 or so in this one. Huge game here, massive game. These two are big-time rivals to start with. They're both part of a three-way tie at the top of the Sun Belt standings. Here we go. It all comes down to this. I think because of the magnitude of this game, I have to lean to the under. Both teams do play fast. Both teams pretty good on offense, but neither team really that bad on defense. I think if you get a high 150s number here, I think you have to look toward the under because this game means so much to both teams. This is a really good under-the-radar game for Saturday. So lean under. No real lean on the side here, but certainly a game that if you get a chance to watch it, get a chance to follow along, I suggest doing so. This game means a lot to both teams. So check me out on Twitter at Kyle Hunter Picks. Follow Bang the Book at Bang the Book. Subscribe to Bang the Book on YouTube if you haven't already. Certainly appreciate everybody with the thumbs up for these videos. Just encourages us to do more of videos like this. And if you have any questions, you can tweet me at Kyle Hunter Picks. You can make a comment under this video. I'll try to check out those as much as I can, though. It's a really busy time of the year, so less time to check out everything than what I normally do. But we will try to get you top-notch information here all the way to the end of the college basketball season. Thanks for tuning in. Best of luck this weekend. I hope everybody has a great weekend.